What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Modest House. We are inside, and I say we, but it's just going to be me here for the start of the day. Greg is off, not feeling the best, and that's probably because we spent the whole day yesterday, or the whole afternoon, redoing the gravel grade here in the home, and that is because there was a miscommunication. We are using this product right here for our foam, which is our sub-slab insulation, R10, and it is also going to be holding our radiant PEX tubing, and that is going to be getting put into this. If you guys watched the RHQ sub-slab insulation, install, that is the same product. The miscommunication was that this really does call out like a nominal 2-inch foam, right? The problem is it actually measures about 3 1/4. So when I talked to my concrete guy, he was assuming 2-inch. I didn't double check and make sure that he understood that. So I'm taking 50% of the blame, which means also that's why Greg and I helped regrade this entire floor. Then what that meant is we had to also lower all of our sleeves for our water lines. So needless to say, I think Greg isn't here because A, he didn't feel good yesterday, and B, probably because he feels like he got hit by a truck. Kind of like I feel because we did hand shoveling and raking all day. But I don't really have the option to stay at home because, that's what the boss man does. So we are going to spend the morning putting down Heat Sheet Heavy. Very easy install. It goes together with the tongue and groove. You guys will see. So let's go ahead and get into this. And of course, I've got lots of pipes. And yeah, I'm going to have to do a lot of cutting. So let's go. 13 inches and 17 7/8. Okay. 11 1/8. And we're just going to notch this out to 3 inches. All right. I got a plethora of different size hole saws, and really this is just to give me an idea where I'm going to go because it's too thick to get through all the way. So all I'm going to do is just kind of find where my hole is going to be, and then hopefully I can just do something like this. Now I kind of know right where I'm going to. You know what? Even if it's not going to go all the way through, I might still want to just get it cut. Nah, that's good. Okay. And I don't think I really care too much about this. I'm just going to give myself a circle. And then hopefully this jigsaw can get through. Or I could use probably a handsaw, but it's a lot quicker. All right, oops. Don't break off the tongue there, Kyle. Okay, so we're 4 inches. We're going to be golden there. Yeah, I think we're good. It's the first one. First of many. Don't come at me in my comments. I'm just using this to clean out around spots. I know it's not made for this, but it's going to work just fine. Okay, so that's kind of to there, to there, to there, to there, to there. And they're all pretty much the same. And before I put these in, just kind of checked for the high spots. I kind of learned that lesson. Okay, now. So these gaps like this, yes, I could do a very tight job, but what I'm going to do is just come in here with a can of foam, expanding foam, and I'll just kind of seal that off, because even though this is an EPS, pretty sure this is still going to get my vapor barrier. And I think it has something to do with the way it locks in, and I don't know. I actually was called out on that when I said that in my last video, and I talked to AMC, and I'm like, yo, is this, you know, actually a vapor barrier? And yes, it passes the specs. Now, if you are requiring a different, or you have an architecture print or a code or something, and you might have to lay down like an additional poly or something underneath. So don't just say this is what Kyle told me, but it does suffice for what I'm doing. So we're all good. Now, I don't like this exactly, because I feel like there is a low spot maybe right here. I'm not too concerned about a small low spot as long as my high spots are not high. So if the weight of the concrete pushes that down, it's not that big of a deal. That'll get corrected on the second run. So we're just going to keep going down the line. That's all right. That's going to be all right. Definitely a little bit of hands and knee work today. Okay. Okay. There we go. First row done. Now I will take this piece and I can use it to start. However, I need to make sure that it's going to be actually pretty good, because if I cut this off, I should be lined up. And you can kind of see right here. Look at this. See these lines? Those are my indicators. So you don't want to be there. You want to be right there. Now, everything is good for my PEX tubing. So it's actually going to work, I think, pretty good. I just have to clean this edge off. We call that a Perkins on this job site. There, make sure the knobs line up, and we're on to the next package. So each one of these bundles does 64 square feet, which this is a 32-foot building. Inside the foundation, we're actually like 30 and some change. So each bundle is basically going to be one row for me. One thing I will say is the more time you spend on grade and finishing the grade, the easier this is, obviously. So unfortunately, this was like perfect, and then we had to come back through yesterday and redo it all. I'm hoping that doesn't bite us in the butt. So, so far it's not too bad. Just got to keep an eye on my spacing. And a half. Pretty rigid. There we go. Okay. This is where Greg is super helpful, man. Don't have to do all this. Not that it's hard. Something tells me that wasn't a great cut. That's good enough. $29.3, so 29 1.5 plus 1.5 is 29.3, so that is correct. So this wall, or this guy here, I need to make sure that it is 29 4 5/8. I call that good. That's going to put me 1.5 inches into this wall. So I just got to make sure this electrical is good before I cover it up. And I'm checking it off the wall. The top of this is like good. You can trim these down just a little bit when the concrete gets poured. Unfortunately, this pipe is going to have to, I'm just going to have to cut it out. It kind of is what it is, but I'll just cut around it. Spray foam. Yeah. I was thinking about cutting this block off. Like cutting it flush, you know? So that way I'm as close as possible. I mean, this is not a big deal here. Pretty much, if I leave this here, that's where I want the center of that. Right there. Oh, oh, what? I don't think that could have been any closer without cutting it. That's what I'm talking about. I'm just gonna eyeball this one too. I'm feeling lucky. Got into that one a little bit. That's okay. It's just a plug. What we'll do is we'll put this here, check it for level. Huh? That's actually pretty solid. That's awesome. 12-inch GRKs, baby. And then pipe, I guess. It's going to be in there. This side and that side. We actually have to do 3 showers that are going to be sunk into the concrete. And what I mean by that is the pads for the showers are going to be concrete floors stamped, stained concrete later. So I made the decision that instead of trying to box out exactly where those went, get them staked, all that good stuff, and then cut around them, I went ahead and I'm going to run all this floor, and then we will come back, we'll build some shower boxes that will go in before the concrete. The concrete will get poured flush to the top of those. Those forms will come out, and then the shower guy, the guy that's doing all this work, he will come in and he'll set the drains, do all the shower floor, slope it to the drain. But this will give this homeowner like a zero elevation entrance. So let's say you're gonna get into a walker or a, you know, wheelchair down the road, they're 100% accessible. Now, I know a lot of you might say you're not going to do one tub. No tubs. I talked to the homeowner about it. That's their decision, and honestly, it's that's a personal preference. So I think resellability is always better with a tub, but this isn't my house, and I think the zero entrance showers are going to be, they're great, and they're for anybody. You know, if you got a baby or something, you can always get like a tub that goes in the shower. Just want to let you know that, so stick around. We will get to that before we do our tubing on the heat sheet, but it's going pretty good. Now that I'm through almost all those pipes, I've got one more section of pipes to go through, and it's going pretty good. Better. All right, last row, finally made it. You know, I don't know, but my guess is, wouldn't it be sweet? Look at that. That is really close. So what that means is if I'm really lucky, when I come through this doorway with a piece, because I don't think it's exact 2 foot, what would be the odds? Interesting. Too bad I didn't just go ahead and move this whole thing that way. If only I could have had the 20/20 vision, I would have done that. But I think that's okay. I'll probably just cut that flat right there at the doorway. I'll just run that right now and just cut it out later. So, cool. All right. How are we going to cut these? Do I just jigsaw it? Because that's been pretty darn easy. All the way through. 14 3/4. Let's just check these. See how we're doing. 14 3. I think I can squeeze that in there. Heck yeah, let's do it. I know last time we used the table saw, but Greg told me that that was a pain in the butt. So I'm just going to see how this goes. Ooh, that sun is bright. That might be a little too tight. You can see it in the concrete. That might, well, my cut's not perfect either. That's what I wanted. I wanted it to lock that in. Ain't going nowhere. Oh, that's so nice. Satisfying. Something that kind of thought about is the fact that this floor is 4 inches above that floor, so I can't really run this foam all the way out right here. So I'm just going to run it kind of in between. If my concrete guy wants to take it out, fine, but it's there. And then this will end up getting poured actually probably deeper. So I don't really know, but I figure it's better to have it here and cut it out later than not have it and then wish that I just would have put it there. And it doesn't cost anything extra, so it is what it is. yeah, it's gonna go. Like a glove. All right, that was a lot of work. It's not hard, but that was just a lot of work. Up and down, carrying it all, moving it around, but totally doable. It's like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Probably got started around 10. 4 or 5 hours at the most here to do all this. This is, I don't know how many square foot, 20 some hundred. So heat sheets down. We're now ready for the PEX tubing. We've got a design by Uponor, the engineers over at Uponor. They helped me out on my shop. It was really nice to follow that design, and then that design also is engineered. It can go to the HVAC guy to size the boiler, make sure all the pumps and everything are the right, pressure or flow rate, all that good stuff. So definitely recommend you doing that if you're going to do a flow. Don't just run them willy-nilly. It doesn't make any sense if you're going to put all this money and not do it right. But we like this. I think it's easy to go together, and it's even easier when it comes time to run your radiant tubing PEX in the system with all these little knobs. So that is going to be the next video. Make sure you guys are following along so you can see how that goes. Greg and I aren't radiant heating contractor specialists, but running tubes is quite easy, and after doing my shop, I feel pretty confident, and so we're going to do this one next. So make sure you stay tuned for that. I'm going to go ahead and clean up for the day, get out of here, and we'll catch you on the next video.